When I married Ava, I thought I was done searching. She was everything I never thought I'd find. Magnetic, sharp, impossibly beautiful. She made the world feel electric. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I had to apologize for loving a woman. She was the kind of person who made you feel chosen just by looking at you. And for 2 years, I felt like the luckiest woman alive. Until the night the police came. It was a Tuesday. Ordinary in every way. Until it wasn't. I'd just gotten back from my shift at the ER. My scrubs were still wrinkled, my hair in a bun, when I heard the knock. Not a polite knock, a demanding one. When I opened the door, 2 officers stood on the porch, one tall, one tired. Their hands rested too easily on their belts. "Are you Tessa Morgan?" the taller one asked. "Yes." "We have a report of domestic assault filed by your spouse, Ava Reynolds. We need you to come with us." The world didn't tilt. It cracked. I froze. "What?" He repeated it, almost word for word. I laughed. It wasn't a funny laugh. It was a desperate one. The sound your body makes when your brain can't catch up. "There has to be a mistake," I said. "Ava and we're not even fighting. She kissed me goodbye this morning." The tired one didn't blink. "Ma'am, she has photographic evidence. Bruises. We've already been to the hospital." My heart slammed against my ribs, because Ava had bruises. Not from me, from a fall 2 days ago. She tripped in our garden, scraped her side. I helped her clean it up. I even kissed the gauze before taping it down. Now she was using it to say I hit her. And just like that, my wrists were cuffed. They took my phone, my keys, my dignity. I spent 17 hours in a holding cell with a woman who smelled like gasoline and wouldn't stop muttering about her ex. I didn't cry. Not when they booked me. Not when they fingerprinted me. Not even when the public defender said, "Best thing you can do is stay quiet and let the process play out," because something inside me had snapped shut. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a setup. And if Ava thought she could burn down my life and walk away untouched, she had no idea who she was playing with. I was released on bail the next morning. My sister Lena drove me home in silence. She gripped the steering wheel like it was the only thing holding her together. I stared out the window, trying to make sense of the shape my life had become. I didn't go back to our apartment, because Ava had already changed the locks, and filed for divorce, and filed for full custody of our foster application for a child we hadn't even been matched with yet, a little girl we'd spent a year preparing for. And just like that, I was erased. Olivia, yes, that Olivia, came on board 3 days later, not as a favor, as a call to arms. "I don't do half-truths," she said, flipping through the photos Ava had submitted. "And I don't represent victims. I represent survivors. Big difference." We examined everything. The photos, the ER reports, the affidavit. And then Olivia asked me the question that changed everything. "Were there cameras in the house?" I blinked. "Yeah, for security. 2 indoors, 1 in the hallway, 1 facing the back door." She sat up straighter. "Did you take them offline?" "No, they upload to the cloud." She grinned, sharp, wicked, hopeful. Then we might have just caught Ava staging the whole thing. I didn't sleep that night. I dug through old passwords until I found the cloud login. There it was. Ava, in a robe, holding her side, looking in the mirror, adjusting her makeup. Then, she picked up a broom, swung it at the kitchen counter, fell deliberately onto the floor. She stayed there for 3 seconds, then got up, took photos of her hip, and texted someone. The footage had a timestamp. 20 minutes before she called the police. I couldn't breathe, not because I was scared, but because I could finally feel my hands again. She'd buried me in a lie. But now, I had a shovel. We submitted the footage to the judge during the next hearing. Olivia kept it calm, clinical. "This isn't just perjury, Your Honor. This is criminal fraud, and it endangers every real survivor who's ever tried to seek help." Ava's lawyer looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. Ava? She didn't look shocked. She looked furious, like a child who'd been told no for the first time in her life. But that wasn't the best part. The best part came after the hearing, when Olivia pulled out another document. Ava's text log, recovered through subpoena. One line from a thread with her best friend stopped everyone cold. If I play it right, she won't know what hit her. I'll keep the house, the lake place, and maybe they'll even speed up the adoption with just my name. The judge paused, then looked at Ava and said, Ms. Reynolds, you may want to consider a criminal attorney. After the hearing, Ava did what Ava always did when cornered. She played innocent in public and ruthless in private. She posted a carefully filtered photo of her at brunch, captioned, "Healing is hard but necessary. #survivor #self-love." Meanwhile, she was calling our mutual friends one by one, trying to spin the narrative. She's twisting everything, she told people. I only filed because I was scared. I didn't mean to hurt her career. But people weren't buying it, not after the footage, and the tide was turning. That's when I got the envelope. No return address, just my name, in neat handwriting. Inside was a single photo. Ava, at a bar. Not just any bar, our bar. The one we used to go to on Thursdays for live music and trivia. And she wasn't alone. She was kissing someone. A woman I didn't recognize. Tall, red hair, a sleeve tattoo Ava used to say looked tacky. On the back of the photo, in block letters, ask her where she was the night before she called the cops. I brought it to Olivia. She raised an eyebrow. Anonymous? Yep. She stared at the photo a moment. You realize what this could be, right? A setup? Or a second play? If Ava was seeing someone and wanted you out of the picture, this might not have been just about the assets. My stomach turned, because it fit. The fast filing, the fake bruises, the custody rush, the whisper campaign. This wasn't just revenge. It was replacement. She didn't just want to leave me. She wanted to wear my life like a coat and hand it off to someone else. We pulled Ava's financials. Credit card charges to a boutique hotel. 2 nights before she filed. Room for 2. More subpoenas. More receipts. And then, a witness. The bartender from that night remembered Ava, and the woman she was with. Said they left looking like newlyweds. The next hearing wasn't about custody. It was about contempt, fraud, perjury, falsifying police reports, tampering with family court proceedings. Ava's lawyer tried to delay, asked for a recess, a settlement, anything. But the judge had seen enough. She ordered a full freeze on Ava's accounts, suspended the adoption application pending review, and awarded me temporary exclusive access to both homes until a final ruling. Ava's jaw clenched. She didn't cry. She never did. But I watched something change behind her eyes. She realized I wasn't the girl she'd married. I wasn't her prop anymore. I was her reckoning. The lake house was exactly how I remembered it. Quiet, isolated, still smelled like cedar and old books. But it felt different now, like walking into a memory I no longer trusted. I unlocked the front door with the emergency key Ava had forgotten was still taped beneath the mailbox. The air inside was stale. Half unpacked boxes, 2 coffee mugs in the sink, her favorite blanket still on the couch. But I wasn't there to reminisce. I was there to find anything else she hadn't confessed. I started in the office. Ava always kept journals, half therapy, half ego-stroking. Most were benign, daily routines, affirmations, things to manifest. Then I found the black one, unlabeled, locked with a flimsy clasp, hidden behind a row of old law textbooks. I cracked it open, and what I read made my skin crawl. April 4th. It's always easier when they don't expect it. Tessa still thinks we're fine. That'll help. No matter what, she can't look like the aggressor. April 17th. Called Chrissy. She said bruises work best. Better than yelling. Subtle looks like truth. April 20th. Did the mirror test. Practiced crying, got the lines right. I just want to feel safe again. Might need to try a whisper tone. May 2nd. She'll never see it coming. Neither did Chloe. Chloe? The name didn't ring a bell, but I felt a chill. Because the way Ava wrote about me, it wasn't heartbreak, it wasn't fear, it was strategy. Like she was planning a campaign, a takeover. And then that last line, that meant there'd been someone before me. Someone else she'd done this to. I gave the journal to Olivia. She didn't speak for a solid 30 seconds. Then, we're not just dealing with a toxic ex. I nodded. We're dealing with a sociopath. 3 days later, we found Chloe. Her last name was on an old contract Ava had written up for freelance design work, back when she was building her brand. We reached out, carefully. Chloe agreed to talk, on one condition. No cameras, no recording, just two women who used to love the same monster. We met at a bookstore cafe. Chloe looked normal, warm, real, but her eyes? Haunted. She told me Ava had done the exact same thing. Filed false charges, faked evidence, nearly ruined her life. Only difference? Chloe didn't fight back. She fled. I didn't have a lawyer or money, or anyone who believed me. I moved 3 states away just to breathe again. She sipped her tea. I used to wonder if I was crazy, if I made her up. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You didn't. We gave Chloe a choice. Stay anonymous, or testify. She didn't hesitate. If it means no one else ever has to feel like I did, I'm in. Olivia filed a motion to reopen Ava's previous accusations as part of a pattern of behavior. It was a long shot, legally, but symbolically, it was a nuke. Ava's lawyers tried to delay again, claimed Chloe's testimony was irrelevant, prejudicial, emotionally charged. The judge denied them on every count. Court date set. The day Chloe took the stand was the day the narrative cracked for good. She spoke clearly, calmly, with detail no one could fake. How Ava isolated her, how she planted evidence, how Chloe's own mother stopped speaking to her after Ava filed a report that never even reached the DA because it had been quietly withdrawn once Chloe left town. It was never about safety, Chloe said. It was about control. Ava doesn't want a partner. She wants a stage. Gasps rippled through the room. Ava didn't react, not visibly, but I saw the twitch in her jaw, the tightening of her hands in her lap, the first signs of a woman unraveling under her own script. Then came the footage, security video from the boutique hotel, Ava and her new girlfriend, check-in timestamps that matched her emergency counseling sessions, then the journals, the calendar notes, the texts she forgot to delete. Piece by piece, the castle fell. But the final blow came not from Olivia, not from Chloe, not even from me. It came from Ava's father, a retired judge, conservative, distant, always vaguely disapproving of our relationship. Until now. He took the stand on his own accord, requested by the DA after seeing the headlines. And what he said changed everything. My daughter has always been convincing, he said. But she's also always been dangerous when she doesn't get what she wants. I overlooked it. I enabled it. And now, I regret that more than anything in my life. Ava's face crumbled for the first time. She didn't cry, but she looked broken, not because she was sorry, because the audience was no longer clapping. The court found Ava guilty of perjury, obstruction of justice, and falsifying evidence in a family law proceeding. But the real sentence came later. The judge issued a public statement, called Ava a manipulator who weaponized the justice system against an innocent partner. It was the kind of language that sticks, in headlines, in online searches, in court databases. She got 18 months probation and mandatory psychological evaluation. But the custody case? Dead in the water. The adoption agency withdrew all applications in her name, and the little girl we dreamed of meeting, she was placed with a new family, One I hope is safe. Because Ava? She wasn't allowed near any foster programs again. The morning after the verdict, I found a note in my mailbox. From Chloe. You gave me back my voice. You gave you back your life. And her? You didn't destroy her. You just stopped protecting her from the truth. See, I kept it, folded in my journal, right next to the photo of me and Ava, the last one I didn't throw away. Not because I miss her, but because I need to remember. Even the most beautiful lies can break your bones if you don't call them by name. 6 months later, I gave a talk at a survivor's clinic. I shared the footage, the trial, the betrayal, but I also shared what came after. The healing, the slow rebuilding of trust, in myself, in the system, in possibility. A girl in the back raised her hand, trembling. What if no one believes me? I looked her in the eye. They won't, I said. At first, but you believe you. And that's where it starts. That night, I walked along the same beach Ava once took me to when she proposed. This time, alone and free. I didn't cry. I smiled. Because I hadn't just won. I'd rewritten the ending.